Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's me, Jamie. I just had a new idea for our song about the Name Your Price tool. So when it's like, tell us what you want to pay, hey, 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 and the trombone goes, blah, 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 and you say, we'll help you find coverage options to fit your budget. Then we just all do finger snaps while a choir goes, savings coming at ya, savings coming at ya. Yes? No? Maybe? Anyway, see your practice tonight. I got new lyrics for the rap break.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
The views and opinions expressed by tonight's guests and topic of discussion do not necessarily represent the official policy or position of S4, its hosts, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with this broadcast. Any rebroadcast or reproduction of this broadcast or podcast without express written consent of S4 is strictly prohibited. Listener discretion is advised.
Because we don't understand how life formed, it is difficult to estimate this probability. The likelihood of a complex molecule like DNA being created by random collisions of atoms in a primordial ocean is fantastically small. In an infinite universe, it would happen in some places, but they would be very far apart. If we want to find advanced intelligent life, our best bet is to listen for radio signals.
Look up to the stars and the forests that surround. Do you see them? Do you hear them? Are they there? SpacedOutRadio.com presents S4 with Forest Moon Paranormal's Eric Cooper and friends. Also, take the time to join the Forest Moon Paranormal Facebook group.
I knew I should have made a left turn at Albuquerque.
Conspiracy, Area 51, Dogman, Ghosts, Cover-Ups, UFOs. The hidden will reveal itself.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Buckle up, space travelers. It's time to go live on S4 with Eric Cooper.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to S4 with Eric Cooper, broadcasting live from the beautiful mountains of Concrete, Washington. Tonight, we are having our monthly team show. Tonight on our panel, we have Eric Markham, our Forest Moon Paranormal Scientist, Michael Hall of UFO I-Team and the FMP Attorney, Donna Cunningham of the Astral Team, Bonnie Smith of the Astral Team, and Sam Wynn of the Aftercare Team. Also myself, Corey Reese, and your host, Forest Moon Paranormal Zone, Mr. Eric Cooper.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to S4, and coming to you live from the fairly warm mountains of Concrete now. Well, I'm losing my voice. The whole team has been extremely busy the last 2 days at the farmers market of upriver. spreading the word of Forest Moon Paranormal and having a great time doing it. And we will be at the farmers market every weekend, all summer long. So if you live in Washington State or more locally in Skagit County, stop by. We're there from 9 a.m. or 9 a.m. to about 5 p.m. Mm-hmm. Anyway, how's everyone doing tonight?
I'm doing
Good deal. And we got Sam on tonight. We have Donnie. Oh God, Donna and Bonnie. I keep on wanting to say Bonnie, the Bonnie team.
Bonnie and Donnie, yeah.
They are the dynamic
We can
duo.
call that.
They are.
And hopefully have Keith on soon.
Yeah, I haven't caught him on tonight. I'm thinking he may have crashed out. It is a little later up for him.
That could be. So, okay. Looking at cases. I could take this a whole lot of ways because, we've had some ups and downs this month with clients, and I'm going to be harsh for a minute because I'm going to be blunt. Forest Moon Paranormal is an emergency crisis team. We do this job free of charge. We don't ask a dime. We don't ask a thing. And I mean, we've got clients, I'd say 1 in 100. It's very rare. But the nasty clients that come out, really become an irritation. That's not even the right way. I don't even know how to explain this. But, when a client gets nasty because, we're just not doing what they think we need to be doing, even though they're the ones that aren't following basically what we're advising them they need to do, and they turn it around on the team. I don't have a very high patience tolerance for stupid. I'm just going to be blunt with this. And I know exactly you guys know what I'm talking about, but like I said, it is about a 1 in 100 of clients. And this particular client, I actually did say, you're now going to be on a blacklist. Your case is now officially closed, and every paranormal team out there that you go to will know what kind of a client you are. And yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to shut up. How do you guys think we need to handle clients that turn around on us like that?
I think we did about all we can do when, if they are not willing, we're about empowering people too. We can take care of the problem, but a lot of people things can return and will return because they're attracted to them for some reason, maybe where they live, a lot of different reasons. So, we try to teach them what they can do within their religious beliefs and to protect themselves and, be empowered and not be afraid if they won't work with us. We can't really just be on call 24/7, and they don't understand that, some of them. We will be on call and come as many times as needed. If they're trying, it doesn't matter if it's 100, But if they're not trying and they're getting nasty and angry, then it's kind of all you can do is walk away.
Oh, no. We've got some vigilante justice going on in the chat room. No, Joe. No. Put the Zippo away, Snarkette. Put the Zippo away.
I'm in the chat room.
Now, pointy sticks do come to mind, but I can't go there either. And yeah. But, I hate being that way. I really do hate getting angry at clients. But, when a client threatens us because, we're not helping them to the quality that they want us to. And, I mean, frankly, We actually cleared their location 3 different times, and it makes you wonder if it's a psychiatric issue after a while. And there's only so much you can.
That client.
There's only so much you can do.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes they try to, play different people around and make it so that nobody's doing anything, but, in reality, they have several people going in and doing multiple things, and they're not willing to do anything to help themselves. It gets irritating for us because, that's what we want. We want people to be able to take back their lives. And, we don't get anything out of this. Don't ask for anything out of this. We just want people to be able to have their lives. And it does become irritating. They must not want the help, or they must not want to get better. That's kind of how we look at it.
It reminds me of Munchausen by proxy.
No, go ahead, because I'm about to switch to another kind of client. So go ahead.
Okay. It reminds me of Munchausen by proxy. They scream and they yell, and all they really want is attention. And we've done everything that we can to take care of the situation, but because they are no longer getting that attention, they start screaming again.
And I can agree with that. Now, you have the clients that are hands down having pyramidal issues. We go in, we clear it, we teach them what they need to know. Case closed, everything's great. And then you have Munchausen by proxy, which you do see that too. And these are the attention seekers. And then you have the ones that are a step above that, like the one I'm referring to, where they're just not getting enough attention as they think they need to where they start getting to the threatening point. And
well, you can always refer them to your FMP attorney.
At what line do we get to before we send them to you?
Well, I guess it's
defamation of character.
Well, definitely. Those are the kind of things that you need a little cease and desist letter, from an attorney, that kind of a thing. That would help. So if there's anything trying to come back to you to harm the organization or yourself as far as your reputation goes, feel free to give me a call. The whole idea that you're not your contract with them is not for a sum of money for a service. You're doing a pro bono service for these folks, and they should not be able to mess you guys up or come back with any kind of a claim against you when you're just trying to help them free. But feel free, if you have that problem headed, if you see it coming down the road, see them that way, feel free to give me a call before it even gets out of hand, and maybe we can figure out how to deal with them, before it gets really obnoxious. Because the hardest thing with dealing with folks like that is it takes up so much of your time. It's just like anybody else who has a service that they're providing an individual. At one point, the diminishing returns kick in, and it's not worth trying to even fix the situation. Like I think it was Donna said before, is that sometimes you just got to back away.
Well, a lot of times people don't quite take into effect is that each of us have lives. This isn't the only thing that we do in our lives, and we have to function in society as well. We do this on our time. Whenever we have a break, may it be between jobs, on breaks while we're at jobs. We do this, above and beyond what we have to do to maintain our daily life.
And on that, the difference between us and many other teams is we're not weekend warriors. We do this day to day to day to day. 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we're usually on call.
Yep.
I mean, and look at Markham. Markham even does it when he's at work.
Yeah.
And you know, and then a couple weeks
ago, in a way,
we had
that's kind of cool when you think about it. Because I'm on the clock here, and that means I'm the only one of this group getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
No, don't.
I just jinxed myself. It's like you're doing what while you're on the clock?
What we do plan on getting to, and we're creating a format for this, but businesses that are out there that wish to sponsor our team, we're making a sponsorship packet. And there's different packages they can do. They can do it monthly. They can do it annually. But we are coming up to the point that we're actually offering sponsorship. And that would bring in somewhat of a nonprofit income as far as for operational costs, Paracon costs, things like that. We're also going to have a booth at the Skagit County Fair this year, which I'm looking forward to that because that's going to be, it's really eye-opening when you have a booth locally here in our own community and you have people coming out going, oh my God, where are you guys based out of? Here in Concrete. Seriously? How long have you been here? Well, we've been here in Concrete since about 2012. And yeah, when you've been in a community for 6 years and they haven't heard of you until now, I find that
you've had three Paracons in their town.
Yeah,
I guarantee after this year, that won't be an issue because I have a feeling the change of venue is going to get us all kind of. I think we're going to see a hell of a lot more people this year at the Paracon than we did last year.
They had their paragliders on.
I foresee it doubling. And it's a much better venue.
Well, I hope we have more than 4 out there this year. You said double.
Yeah. Yeah, according to some people, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving along. So I brought up the first type of client. The other kind of client we dealt with a couple weeks ago are the sad clients. These are the clients that really need the help. And not so much, it's not necessarily always a paranormal issue, but, Donna had her first encounter with having to call an actual crisis hotline for a client. And we're going to come up with the format of, because we're a global team, we need to have crisis hotlines for every country, which that's, a hell of a list. But we actually had to reach out to another country, region, and get a hold of a crisis. And I think we got that client the help they need. You want to talk about that one, Don?
Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely unique when you have to call a crisis hotline and you explain who you are and the organization you're with, and you get asked what about 3 times because they just can't grasp that. But in the end of the call, finally I got it through that, the person did need a welfare check, and we was lucky enough to be able to have a landline and be able to track that and get the help there. But it's it's not just a paranormal issue all the time, of course. And I spoke with the client, and once I got the client stable enough, started making procedures to go forward to get them the help because they weren't going to reach out any further.
Right. And don't mind me, I'm sitting out front of the show right now. And you know, that is the problem with it's the problem we see today in general with society, not even just in the paranormal, but the state of the world and depression and the turmoil, the division you see. I mean, the world's in a nasty place, just to be blunt. And that attracts the paranormal.
Well, I mean, there was no doubt that, you know, the client had paranormal issue. And once that was cleared, you know, sometimes the paranormal can do tricks to your mind. And it's, you know, my best way of describing it is, you know, cutting off a person's limb. It takes their brain a little while to acknowledge that it's no longer there. And sometimes they need help with that. And that's kind of the way I relate it a lot, is that it's gone, but you have to heal your mind after that and you know, move forward.
What happens when you get the client who is bat crap crazy, but they are also experiencing greater than normal paranormal activity? I mean, I would think that'd be your nightmare scenario, because how do you find out where the psychosis ends and the paranormal begins?
It is hard when that's going on. You know, normally, you know, we go in and we handle the paranormal side of it and direct them. You know, we have the aftercare team, which is great. You know, to come in and help direct them towards mental health and places that can help them. We continue to try to stay vigilant to keep the paranormal side of that down, and continue to check in on them and you know, try to alleviate some of that. Now, there again, mental issues can also invite in, you know, the paranormal, because they're more susceptible to those things. They're in situations and mindsets that open them up to that. So it's kind of a double-edged blade sometimes.
In some cases,
well, it's also what sets FMP apart from a lot of the other people, well, everybody else out there practicing this, is that we do have aftercare. I mean, how many other groups out there will actually look back in and make sure things are going okay for the client? I don't know of any.
None that I'm aware of. Not saying we're the only one. No, but none that I'm aware of. We're the first team that I'm aware of that's come up with that program. And you know, every team is unique in their mission. Our mission is emergency response. That's what we do. We're not here for evidence. We're not here to prove there's paranormal, because we already know it's here. But if your whole purpose is to prove paranormal, you're not there for the client. You're not there for aftercare. There's no need for aftercare, because you're only there to get that picture of the orb and the apparition and the EVP, and that's what you do. So why would you have aftercare? To be honest, there's only 3 teams that come to my mind immediately that even have any kind of a client-based. Four Corners being one, with Tessa. You know, and there's a couple other astral groups out there, but their mission also is not to pass over spirits or even deal with paranormal. Their mission is actual healing of hotspots. That's what they do. So, you know, it's really all based on what your mission is and what your intentions are.
we have a broad spectrum. I mean, we take on, just about, anything that's bad that nobody else can handle. That's where we're at. And, I, for one, I enjoy everything I do. I wouldn't trade what I do for anything in the world. No matter what happens in day-to-day life for me, I always know there's somebody out there that's worse. There's somebody out there that needs that. And sometimes I have to hang up daily life on a hat and go take care of that other person.
Mm-hmm. And they're bringing up the. I wasn't going to bring it up, but they're bringing it up in the chat room, so I'll say it. Yeah, most teams go in, stir crap up, and leave. And that does two things. One, that validates the fear of the paranormal to the client, and then they leave. And two, it stirs up the paranormal and makes it worse, and they leave. And now you've got a client that's even more terrified, and an entity, a spirit, an alien, whatever, that's even more ticked off.
Or feeding on the fear and getting stronger and making a flywheel
exactly.
effect.
Exactly.
And
then by the time, go ahead.
And it can make the client apprehensive about contacting any other group that might actually be able to help them.
Oh, yeah.
Most
I mean,
definitely.
You get a bunch of people in there that don't know what they're doing, yeah.
We get a lot of people who've been through a lot of groups, too, and a lot of different crazy stuff sometimes before they get to us. So they're already weary. They're already, some been paid money. Nothing helps, and it takes a while to heal them from that and get them, through that feeling that way.
Well, we're dealing with a situation where there's no certifications, there's no... Word of mouth is the only validation we get. So it takes all these other groups going in and making a mess, FMP coming in, clearing it out. It's a slow process.
No, okay. So, Caden, yeah. Caden slipped through my radar here. Yeah, Caden has Deathstalk as paranormal, and yeah. We just met them, 3 weeks ago? Actually, at your birthday.
Yeah, during my birthday. During my birthday party, actually.
Okay, I'm sorry, Caden. You need... Caden, you need to send me a message on Facebook, a personal message, so I can get you on track. Deathstalkers actually does very similar to what we do. I need to get him into our network. He slipped through the cracks here, for sure. And so, it brings to mind, just today, I actually had a community guy come up. And so here, you go to a farmer's market of all places, and there's a paranormal group in a farmer's market. That's pretty much unheard of. We got invited, so we're there. Usually, I think of a farmer's market. I'm going there to buy some blueberries or some strawberries or some produce. No, look for some Ghostbusters. And so this guy came up and he said, paranormal. So what, you guys like Ghostbusters or something? They're like, not really. No, we deal with Bigfoot, alien abduction, UFOs, spirits, yes, but no, we're not Ghostbusters. So he got all excited and, oh, wow, right on. Yeah, he's like, so you're paranormal. You're not, like, exactly. Paranormal to me is Bigfoot, UFOs, alien abduction, spirits. If you want to deal with ghosts, then you're a ghost investigator, not a paranormal investigator. A big difference. So yeah, we had a good discussion because he was on the same page as us. So we have probably about, to just today, 4 or 5 people that want to join the team. Now, are they going to follow through? We will see. That's the thing. people showing interest, and they take the card, and they say they want to, jump into the group and whatnot. And whether they do or not, that's completely up to them. Now, Michael.
Yeah, I was just going to jump in here and ask, is there a good hotline phone number, or how would people contact FMP since we're doing this, broadcast? A lot of folks will be listening for the first time. It'd be a good idea to kind of reiterate that.
Okay, the number is 360-840-7674. That's our phone number. And it's actually, don't call now because I'm on the phone.
Yeah, so it's 360-840-7674 hotline.
That would be the hotline. And if I don't answer, leave a message. A lot of people call. Actually, the ones that call and don't leave a message are probably the telemarketers. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
We got a question in the chat room here, probably a decent one to be answered. Does FMP spend time researching and understanding why a certain person has paranormal experiences? Do they have theories about why these things happen to certain people in general?
Oh God, that's a
Yes, we do investigate.
That's sort of what Markham's there for.
We investigate on many different levels, and we ask questions. We find out history of of property and land and the events that have happened to people. So we investigate. We go about it a little bit differently. Then, of course, when we do have evidence, Markham, he's tagged in that one. But it's a continual investigation. It's always being investigated, and we do theorize on why something's happening and track back curses or things like that. So we're always investigating, and it doesn't stop just with the initial investigation.
So I'm going to expound on
there.
Yeah, I'm going to expound on that though, because we're talking. We deal with alien abduction, not just spirits. So that's a very broad answer because it all depends on which aspect of the paranormal you're talking about.
Yeah, after a while, statistically, you start seeing patterns and things that run together, why certain people may or may not be having paranormal issues, and you start seeing patterns, and they do kind of have reasons, different people, that happens, You watch the patterns, I do. You see the same thing come up many times, but you never know when something definitely unusual things always happen, but you do get patterns of things that you've seen before when you've been doing it a few years. You get, into seeing that. I kind of look at things statistically like, oh, I've had this case before, and it kind of works that way. And I mean, research exactly on my part, but you've taken that into consideration.
And so when it comes to the historical side, we have Jaretta Osborne. She does our history research as far as the property, as far as the history of the house, the address, things of that nature. We also have a video and photo analyst. His name is Josh, and he's actually got a degree. He's working on a bachelor's degree in media analysis. So, when you talk about the research side of it, yes, we go quite extensively. As far as why is it happening to certain people, you have to look at the religion. You have to look, was there any kind of occult activity involved? It goes.
What in the hell is that crunchy noise?
I don't know. Someone just asked me.
Don't stop.
Yeah, I was wondering.
It goes a lot deeper, though.
No more crunching.
There you go.
No,
And answer
no,
the phone.
no, Michael. I wanted to ask you, what's UFO team been doing?
Well, of course, last weekend we were at the McMinnville UFO Festival, which is the largest UFO festival in the United States, right down there in little old McMinnville, Oregon. Oh, maybe about 4 hours away if you want to drive from the Seattle area. And that was very unique and a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
There was some major headliners down there. George Knapp from Coast to Coast AM was one of the speakers. Peter Davenport, FMP's buddy and the UFO I-Team's buddy, was the MC of the entire event again after 19 years. And by the way, people should know that next year, May sometime, is going to be the 20th anniversary of the McMinnville UFO Festival. And they're going all out next year.
I imagine.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, if people don't know about McMinnville, Oregon, in 1950, not too long after Roswell and Kenneth Arnold and Maury Island, the Trent family, a farm couple in the rural area of McMinnville, took 2 photographs, possibly the most famous photographs of a UFO flying over their farm field. And it was, and those photographs have appeared worldwide. They've never been debunked. This was well before Photoshop or anything like that. And the craft looked like, if you wanted to describe it over radio, a flattened top hat. If you took a top hat with the flat brim and then squeezed it down to a thin kind of a hat, it's basically what it looked like. Didn't necessarily look saucer shaped, but it was more of a kind of a square dome on top of the thing. And that was something that started a whole trend in ufology community, because those were some of the clearest and most recognizable photographs that we've ever had. That was kind of what we did last weekend.
That sounds neat.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I don't know if anybody remembers this famous sighting, and I believe it was in 1987, that Dr. John Mack investigated down in Zimbabwe, Africa, where a whole playground of school children witnessed the landing of a UFO and an occupant coming out of the UFO. About 200 students, and 2 of the students from that Zimbabwe school, it's called the Ariel School, were at the conference at McMinnville this year. They're now 34 years old, 2 women, and gave us chilling account of them as 11-year-olds running across this entity coming out of a flying saucer at the edge of their playground.
That's amazing. It's neat. Did they have a lot of experiencers there? Speaking about what they'd experienced in different places?
At McMinnville, they didn't have a lot of experiencers speak. They had those 2 women, but they did have, on top of that, they had at least 2 film producers down there promoting their upcoming films, documentaries on strange phenomena. Matter of fact, I can give you a report on both of those upcoming films if we have time, or if you'd like me to do that anytime.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, one of them, a gentleman by the name of Jeremy Corbell, is working with George Knapp to produce a film about the Skinwalker Ranch. this is right up you guys' alley here, because the Skinwalker Ranch is the ranch in Utah, very close to the Nevada border, that was purchased by the billionaire Robert Bigelow about 12 years ago to send his scientific crew out there. You're going to love this one, Markham. They had Colin Andrews. They had a whole bunch of different kinds of scientists go out and spend not months, some of them years on this ranch to document the strange aerial phenomena, shape-shifting phenomena, by the way, and ghosts and ETs that all seem to conglomerate around this location. And this Jeremy Corbell is using some of George Knapp's old footage that he had done on KLAS television over Las Vegas, the station that he works for, about 10 years ago, and he couldn't use his footage back then because Robert Bigelow was still owning the ranch and running the scientific investigation and didn't want a whole bunch of folks flocking out to their test area on the ranch. But now that Robert Bigelow has sold the ranch to another private party and backed out of the investigation because it's completed, George Knapp can now come back and resurrect some of his footage, and Jeremy Corbell is using that along with the new footage that they're creating out there on the location of the strange phenomena that had taken place in this one area. It's almost like a portal area, supposedly. They are talking at one point where this shape-shifting, 4-foot-tall at the shoulder wolf was prowling around the farm, the ranch there, and actually taking some of their the cows and right out of the pens. And this was in full sight of the investigating scientists. So, and of course, another famous story of the Skinwalker Ranch was that the security cameras that they would place around the area would just mysteriously be ripped apart off of 20-foot tall poles. And the other security cameras that were recording the area never picked anything up of, where it happened or when it happened. It's just all of a sudden they were gone and ripped apart. And it was almost as if the entity in that area knew that they were there and was just playing with them.
Now,
your camera.
I've got to ask, and so next week the show is going to be about UFO trends, and this is where we're going to definitely have you pulled in, Michael. And if there's a way you can bring Peter Davenport in, it'd be great. But I know this is like the hour he's asleep. It's late.
I just to let you know, I talked with Peter last weekend because he and I bunked together at the hotel at McMinnville, and I was talking to him. Of course, when I did my show with you guys last Saturday night, poor Peter was trying to get to sleep in his bed right next to the microphone where I was doing the show. And the poor guy told me, he would just love to be able to come on and support you guys. He likes your work and everything that you do, even with the paranormal, not just necessarily UFOs. He really appreciates the full range of the things that you do. But yeah, when I told him that, well, Peter, I got to be up from 12 to 2 o'clock this morning to do the FMP radio S4 radio show, he said, "Oh my gosh, I wish I could join you, but I just can't do that at my old age."
Yeah, and that's what I figured. I've talked to him on email. Months ago, but you work with him close enough. I just relay information through you. I've got to bring this up though because it's really curious. In the last week we've had 3 to 4 different UFO topics and videos come up in FMP. And in the last 2 days, I've had 3 different people come up locally going, have you seen these lights in the sky? And are you seeing any kind of trend? Are you seeing a rise?
Yeah, I talked with Peter Davenport about that just last weekend, because I got to tell a little story about Peter. The guy is so dedicated to what he does with the National UFO Reporting Center and his hotline. By the way, if it would be okay, I'll give out Peter Davenport's hotline as well to the listeners if they want to have it. It's 206 area code 722-3000. 206-722-3000. So that's his UFO hotline. Matter of fact, that phone number, by the way, is in every FAA tower and tower manual in all the traffic control towers around the country, whether they're military, civilian, or commercial. Those phone numbers, Peter's phone number is there that people can call, and they do. But I asked him, about what's going on with all of these sighting reports after the New York Times article on December 16th, 2017, confirming the existence of UFOs. And he says that, of course, he always is busy. And by the way, if you call the phone number, Peter Davenport answers the phone. That's how busy this fellow is, taking sighting reports. And when we were at the hotel room, after the whole day's work that he does at the conference and the parties after the conference with speakers and a late dinner, he'd come back to the hotel room and be sitting in the corner with his phone going over all the sighting reports that people left just in his absence while he was working that day. So that's how dedicated he is. And he tells us that things have just hit wide open here. Now that people have heard that the government has actually confirmed the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena in the New York Times through this Department of Defense and the Pentagon, they're not so reticent any longer to call and leave reports. That's what we're finding on the UFOI team as well. People want to tell their stories now.
And that's good. We need these reports to get out. We do. We need it to get more attention. Because the more attention it gets, the more people will be comfortable asking for help. Because even here locally, just having a paranormal banner and a booth set up, you got the people that look at it and go and turn around and walk away. And the more people see that kind of attitude, the less they're going to want to ask for help. And these are the people that need the help. So it gets frustrating. Because if you haven't had an experience, great, you're doing good. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. Because if you don't need our help, then more power to you. I hope you never do need our help, because we see the worst of it.
Well, and the New York Times article that came out in December has actually thrown the whole paranormal field doors open. If people now realize that they are not going to be ridiculed like they used to be when they report a flying saucer, because the government had an actual program from 2007 to 2012 to study this phenomena and had over $20 million devoted to the process. Now it's kind of bleeding over to the paranormal in general. And the whole fact that everything is consciousness and seems to be connected somehow. So I'm confident that FMP is going to be becoming more and more busier now that people see you at the conferences, see you at the farmer's market and make yourselves available, they're going to come up and talk your ear off, I'll bet.
And that's what I'm hoping, because, you know, we're going to be there all summer. I really have high hopes for the Skagit County Fair, because, you know, that hits, 13,000 people a day.
Wow.
So we'll see how that goes.
Do you know the dates on the Skagit County Fair this year? Do you know what date it's going to be?
Let me pull it up real quick. Meantime, I think you wanted to say something, didn't you, Sam?
Yeah, I was going to say that I've noticed a lot of people, at least here in the South, they treat paranormal situations much like they would kind of hush-hush a psychological situation. They're not so quick to seek out help or talk about it because of the stigma of it here in the South.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm from the South. I agree.
And unfortunately, that's where religion gets in the way. And that's just the sad truth of it. If you're, you know, some religions out there, if it's not of God, it's of the devil. And so, you know, if you're having some kind of a paranormal experience, then we got to get the devil out of you. And that's where, you know, you see the paranormal TV shows, everything's a demon. Same thought pattern. August 8th to the 11th is Skagit County Fair.
Wonderful. Okay, that's good to promote that name for you there, the date.
So hopefully we'll get our booth back up. If you haven't seen our booth, I've got pictures of the booth the last 2 days up on Facebook, and it'll be the same booth.
Instagram too now. We have an Instagram.
Oh, plug that real quick. Cause I don't have the taglines or any of that. So if Faith is around, we have a new Instagram. Okay. Well, FMP does have a new Instagram up. We have a fully dedicated individual named Faith. She's in charge of Instagram, and all over it. We also have Bonnie's son Brandon. He's our new security. So FMP is moving right along, ready to face whatever the hell comes our way next.
So she would be the Insta Ma'am.
Say again?
She would be the Insta Ma'am, correct?
Insta Ma'am, yes. Insta Ma'am.
Okay. Oh, she is the Insta Ma'am, trust me. She likes doing that. I have another thing to bring up about clients when you're ready. I wanted to say something about you were talking about the types of clients that we get earlier. One of the types that we get.
Hold on. We'll start talking about types of clients again second hour. Real quick, August 18th, you will get to see UFOI team in action at our Skywatch. And since we have about 6 minutes left for the first hour, what kind of equipment and how many telescopes, and tell us a little bit about what we can experience with UFOI team at our Skywatch.
Well, one of our members of the team is Lee Strauss. He's our mountain man and gadget guy. He kind of is our intrepid guide who gets us up to certain locations when we're doing sky watches. He has night vision video equipment that you will not believe. They're on tripods with large monitors, so we're not actually having to look through an eyepiece when we're staring at the heavens at night. We're looking at a monitor that's probably 12 inches by 12 inches and sits on the side of the tripod, and it lights up the night sky just like day. The stars are just shining like jewels in the sky with this night vision equipment. And it's video, and it's color. And then we have stop-action photography, which is fascinating, because there's certain things that you can not catch in the night sky that a stop-action camera will catch for us. And when we play it back, we'll be able to see that this This object moves maybe similar to a shooting star or a satellite. It's not either one of them because it's the trajectory is off or the speed is so slow. We've got, of course, binoculars and laser pointers and all sorts of stuff to help us zero in on certain areas once someone makes a sighting. But, yeah, we'll bring all the equipment with us. That will be a lot of fun.
Excellent. And now, I can't remember her title, but I know you had a archaeoastronomer. Is she going to be able to come too, or?
Well, that's Dr. Marilyn Childs, who is actually the first woman to obtain her PhD in archaeoastronomy. By the way, she was the first woman as well to be elected to the National MUFON Board of Directors. So she has been state director for Washington State MUFON and involved in ufology with her husband, Larry Childs, for decades, probably over 40 years. Yeah, I will try to talk with her and see if we can bring her along with us.
Excellent. And on that note, let's go ahead and go into a break, Corey.
Yeah, go ahead and do that here. All right, when we come back, when we come back from break, we will continue our monthly team show. Tonight on our panel, we have Eric Markham, our FMP scientist, Michael Hall of UFO I-Team, and also our FMP attorney, Donna Cunningham of the Astral Team, Bonnie Smith of the Astral Team. Hold on a second here. Sam Wynn of the Aftercare Team, myself, Corey Reese, and Eric Cooper of Forest Moon Paranormal as well. Join us every Saturday night at midnight Pacific Standard Time. You can find us on Spreaker.com, SpacedOutRadio.com, and The Fringe FM. And for the local listeners, you can also catch our shows on KSVU 90.1 on your FM dial on Saturdays from 10 p.m. to midnight. Check out Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott Monday through Friday, Spaced Out Weekend with Joe Roop Saturdays, and Tessa Nicole Thomas Peterson Sundays, all at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also check out The Fringe FM with shows like Lighting the Void with Joe Roop and a plethora of other good shows. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and I want you to come on a nightly journey. Starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, every Monday through Friday, you can come hang out with me and the other space travelers. We have it all from Carl the Alien bouncing on by to those misfit gnomes causing havoc. It's 3 hours of fun and entertainment on those topics the mainstream really doesn't want to touch. Come get all paranormal with us at SpacedOutRadio.com, and together, my friends, along with our resident guitar god Bumblefoot, we own the night.
Become more intimate and interactive with Spaced Out Radio. Join our Space Travelers Club with your new membership. For $5 a month, we'll provide you with special access to the website, monthly prize draws from books to psychic readings, along with monthly newsletter, private interviews, and more. Sign up today to be part of Spaced Out Radio's experience.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
This is Eric Markham, news editor for Spaced Out Radio's The Encounter Online. We have put together a great team of writers and journalists from all over the world to bring you top-quality paranormal stories. From alien encounters to the latest conspiracies, you won't find any of that fake news here. True stories and top-notch reporting as we look to bring these experiences to the mainstream. The Encounter Online, only at SpacedOutRadio.com.
Do you want to know the truth? Do UFOs exist? Are aliens real? Are the governments hiding the biggest secret in history? We're UFO seekers, and we're on a hunt for the truth. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow along with us as we journey across the United States, visiting UFO hotspots and alien hotspots, trying to document the UFO phenomenon. Catch us on Spaced Out Radio every third Monday of the month as we discuss Area 51, UFOs, and more. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
Have you had an experience you can't explain? Would you like someone you can trust to look into it? We have just the place. The SOR Sightlines Report is the place for you to find answers. Whether it's Bigfoot, UFOs, Dogman, ghosts, aliens, or anything strange, the Sightlines Report will get you connected with one of our expert researchers to find out what's going on. All of your personal information is kept 100% confidential. The SOR Sightlines Report, a place for you to find the answers you need, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Welcome to Spaced Out Saturdays with me, Dave Cruz from Beyond the Strange. Our weekly feature on spacedoutradio.com will take you around the world discussing everything from the paranormal to the latest conspiracies from the top guests in their fields. We won't leave any story uncovered. Spaced Out Saturdays at spacedoutradio.com starting 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
It's Cosmic Sundays with me, Elizabeth Anglin, in Cosmic Passport. Let me take you down a 3-hour spiritual journey where we will get into everything from ET contact to Psychic Sundays. It's a journey of listening and learning together with some of the best professionals in their fields. You can tune in to Cosmic Passport at spacedoutradio.com every Sunday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern.
The views and opinions expressed on tonight's show by tonight's hosts and guests are not necessarily those of Spaced Out Radio, Spaced Out Saturdays, Spaced Out Sundays, or spacedoutradio.com. Listener discretion is advised. And now back for hour number 2, we have Corey Ruiz, Eric Cooper from Forest Moon Paranormal, and S4. You can find Forest Moon Paranormal on Facebook. And for more information on S4, visit spacedoutradio.com. And now, here's Eric Cooper and Corey Ruiz.
Welcome back. For those of you just joining us tonight, we are having our monthly team show. On our panel tonight, we have Eric Markham, Michael Hall, Donna Cunningham, Bonnie Smith, and Sam Wynn. Welcome back, everyone.
Hey, Corey, how you doing?
We're back. So far. Where'd everyone go?
Hello.
Okay, let's get back to Bonnie.
Yes.
What other client types do we deal with?
One type that we have, I want to say first before, I'm not like I'm bad-mouthing clients tonight, but 98% of our clients are great people. They stay in touch with us. They do great, and then life goes on, Little things come up, they contact us. But we've had some experiences with threats. And I mean serious ones, like where they threaten your life, and they stop your family, get on their pages, say things to them. So we have to be careful. That type of client, we've had a few of them, and I'm not sure why they do it, because the particular one I'm speaking of, we helped at the time, but they just came back with silly stuff, death threats first, and then we don't take it lightly when they do that, though. Everybody pretty much. Tony handled a lot of that. Tony Lopey, our head of our astral team. He handled a lot of it because he actually handled the case for this person, and then they homed in on me, then they homed in on my daughter. And that's on that. I've recently friended my son. It's just, you have to kind of we have to be careful like that. We do have to, on the other team, we do have that problem from time to time. Where we live in, you never know.
the stalkers, yeah.
Yeah.
And it amazes me when a client turns from a client to a stalker. It's like, really?
Mm-hmm.
And you know,
how he acts with a plumber.
It goes back to the comment that was made. I believe it was Tripp that made it. You know, you're dealing with the paranormal. And some people that are drawn to the paranormal, whether the paranormal is drawn to them yet or not, but the people that are drawn to the paranormal, some of them, are already kind of out in left field.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that are, you know, actually affected by the paranormal aren't, obviously. They have real events going on. But then you got the other ones that, yeah, we go to help them, and now they're attacking us, stalking us, threatening us, whatever the case is. And that's just, you know, it comes with the territory that we're in.
Most of our clients are really great. I love what I do. I've met wonderful people. They are on my page. They read my stuff. But those that are like that, we have a small percentage that there's only so much we can do.
But that's also why the FNP team is a family, and we all have each other's back.
Absolutely,
so when
that's
it comes,
fact.
you know,
Most definitely.
when it comes down to it, and we have a global reach, yeah. But like you said, that's a very rare 1% of our client base that either stalks us, threatens us, or, you know, goes the other direction. So it is very rare.
On occasion, we'll come across clients that are awakening, and they don't want to awaken. They're not prepared for it. They don't want to accept it. They don't want any part of it, and they just want us to make it go away. But you know, the thing is once people start to awaken, it's all but impossible to stop that process. And you can't make it all go away. You can help them, you know, learn how to handle things and you know, tune in or tune out things. But once the awakening begins, we can't stop that. And sometimes clients just don't understand that.
Yeah, that was me for about 3/4 of my life. I did not want this. This is not what's for me. But it doesn't go away. Like you said, I could block it myself for periods of time, but for blocking it for long term, no. I tried.
So, you know, Tripp brings up an excellent point, because it's actually, well, we don't have proof it happened, because in those cases you just don't. But Tripp is in the chat room saying, how would you deal with a client? How would you deal with a client ended up being a member of another team, trying to just stir up problems? And, you know, that, I'm not going to go into it. I'm really not. But it actually has kind of happened last year. And once it was found out, that individual, well, they disappeared. So, yeah, that does happen. It shouldn't even be about competition, because this field, to me, it's not competition. We do what we do, other teams do what they do. That's the bottom line.
I just want to clarify on that. That person disappeared from our Facebook page and other social media. They didn't actually disappear. We don't want anybody getting the wrong idea.
Yeah. No, not that good.
Well,
my magic's not that good.
Yes.
Okay, now you're just splitting hairs.
Pretty much. But yes, it does happen, and you read it on news feeds all the time. You know, teams attacking other teams, and so and so said this, and so said that. And well, we don't have time for that kind of crap. So no, it does happen though. So, in answer to Tripp's question, yes, it has happened, and it got dealt with. And no, the individual did not literally disappear, but they're not in our group anymore.
Actually, we sent the mafia to shoot them in the head, Tripp. That's how we took care of it.
Pointy sticks. We got Joe's pointy sticks.
Yeah, we sent Joe Monk in a pointy stick.
Don't forget to light it on fire.
Well, that's only if they're titanium. And you know, yeah. So Tripp is saying jealousy. Is it jealousy, or is it just wanting to stir up drama? Because there are individuals out there that all they want to do is stir up drama. They thrive on drama, and that's what it boils down to.
It takes a special type of person to do what we do. You know, you can't let ego and foolish pride and stuff like that get in the way. And we're a family, just like any other family. We have to talk things out, but because we are close-knit and we always work together, we're always protecting each other, you know, we know not to take things wrong. People that are on the outside that don't know us and aren't part of this kind of unit, of course they're going to try to start drama, or they're going to try to start a rift, because it's hard for people to see how well organized this team has become and what we have accomplished. And we have done amazing things because we work together as a well-organized team.
And yeah, some people just don't want to be team players in that case, and they find their way out the door, as in that case. So that's it in a nutshell.
We've even had that type of stuff happen on a more local level with people of other teams that wanted to so-called, you know, join in with us and work with us and stuff, and then just kind of got, I don't know, out of line, off to the side, spun out, whatever it was, and just kind of ended up not wanting to be that team unit, and they just kind of trailed off to their own thing, I guess, whatever. You know, they just disappeared off of our pages and everything else. So it's weird. I don't know.
I'm just going to say, you know, in the, let's see, 16 years that FMP has been rolling, we've had shakeups, we've had ups and downs, but we've never stopped. So when it boils down to, we just keep on rolling. Whether, you know, people come, people go, and we keep on going, doing what we do. And that's the bottom line. Joseph has a question. I'm interested in how the astral work happens. How does that work? What kind of info does that gather? Donna, Bonnie?
Well, how it works is a lot of times when we go in and we investigate, you're not just seeing something as you would with your eyes. You investigate on every sense that you can imagine, and then even some that you can't. You feel, you see, you read the energies, and things seem to be
No.
a little different for us whenever we're in astral. We're a little heightened on our senses and how we pick things up. For me, the colors are full color, but I can also see energies or the auras when I'm in astral. I can tell the difference because I've learned of what an entity looks like, by its aura, and people that have attachments. We do healings when we're in astral. Astral is not remote viewing. Remote viewing, you're just looking at a picture. In astral, when we go into the astral plane, we can actually come out of astral and have physical injuries on our body. So it's dangerous for us to go in sometimes if it's just somebody wanting attention, because we have to go through many different phases when we're in there, and it opens us up. Sis?
That sounds good to me, truly. I'm over here going, sorry, guys. I'm getting there. It's like being a diagnosis to me when we go in there. We prepare ourselves in different ways and put protection shields, all sorts of different levels of things. And then when we get in there, we're like looking at what's happening. We can see if there's any of these demons, which is rare. ETs, we feel the energies. We can tell a lot of times if things are going on physically with a client, and we can address those issues. We actually can see some illnesses going on within people. We can see the chakras. We work on sometimes attachments are attached to chakras, and we have to unattach them from a person and actually heal those chakras or start the process of healing the chakras. So it's kind of like a diagnosis, and everyone's different. You never know what you're going to find. And you kind of get some ideas with your, questionnaires and talking with the client before you go in and looking at pictures. You have some ideas, but when you actually get there, sometimes a monkey wrench will get thrown in there. You're least expecting, something will show up that you didn't catch on recon, or, so it is unpredictable, and something we have to be careful with. It's not something people should just do without any knowledge of protection. Even those that are just doing it, the silver cord is not necessarily enough to always protect you, because it is an unpredictable environment. It's not the physical world, the same thing.
And I want to reiterate something here. Contrary to what some people say, yes, you can be harmed physically from the astral.
Yeah.
Astral traveling is not safe. We have protocols in place on the team to keep them safe if they listen. But yes, you can be harmed in the astral.
Besides astral.
And, oh my God, yeah, it drives me nuts hearing some people talk about things they don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, remote viewing does not harm you. It's conscious leaving. Astral travel is consciously leaving your body. So yeah, you can be hurt physically from the astral. Anyway, enough about that. Any more questions from the audience as we move along? You know what, real quick, jump into, cause I know we've talked about it on the show before, but we have new listeners, and we're always gaining new listeners. So go into how do we approach an alien abduction, or an alien abductee from the astral?
Well, most generally, the first thing I'm looking for is, alien activity as soon as I get there. Alien in the astral has a very unique energy signature.
Vibration is
different than anything else. Implants have a vibration, and when we tune into those things, it's as simple as looking through a looking at the stars. You can see them. Our approach is to stop the abduction. So we, cloak and we hide them. We push back the alien, activity that's going on, and deactivate the implants. Is the first thing we do.
And usually they're really surprised when they're able to openly talk with us and kind of we're not they don't feel crazy after a little while talking to us. We'll talk to them before we go in, and then when we see what it is, we'll tell them like kind of step by step. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to secure you, move things back, give you some space, and it's kind of done in stages. The way I do it, we do it together too. It's sometimes done in stages, pushing them away, shielding them, the client, protecting them, and then generally it's better to have a few on hand when you deactivate the implants, because if they're going to get angry and mad, that's when it's really going to happen. And then you have to do what you have to do to convince them to leave. And I haven't asked them yet to take me to their leader, but I've thought about it.
And a lot of times, go ahead.
Well, real quick, we have a question from Shar. When you're astral, can you see other astral travelers?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
You do, from time to time. I don't see very many, but we have had some show up.
And she wants to know if you can see them if they are cloaked.
I'm not 100%. They're probably those that can out-focus and smarter.
Right. Some of them are better at cloaking than others.
No.
I mean, there's possibility that they've cloaked in and we wouldn't know it, at all, because they were so good at cloaking that we didn't know they were there. It's possible.
I would have to add, it would have to depend on their ability level. Because, if they were just basically cloaked with a very light shield, you would probably still feel their energy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That I would probably feel anyway, their energy.
Definitely.
So it would probably it'd be based on how long they've been astraling, how skilled they are. But if they were highly skilled, yeah, you probably wouldn't pick up on their cloaks.
Yep, true.
Now, getting back to aliens, so I know we disabled the implant. That usually piques their interest, and they're like, "What the hell? Why is the implant not working?" With the Greys, it all depends on. So there's 16 different races that we know are documented that abduct for various reasons. And I know with your guys' experience, the Greys usually back off, try to wait you out, but they don't fight.
Yeah.
It's the reptilians that like to fight. So how do we handle astral combat with reptilians?
It gets down.
That's where it gets funny.
Methods. It's all mind energy, and to an extent, and you're out there. And there's a lot of things you can do, even with aliens and reptilians, to kind of slow them down, speed them up, project images and things with magic that they don't like, and basically we end up just kind of going at it in regular combat, just and once a couple of them get hurt, usually, or something, they kind of tend to sort of start backing off then.
Yeah, usually if they're trying to press the issue and actually do combat, they only do it if they think they can win. But when they start getting hurt, they do like to run.
So Caden's in the chat room saying 16. Yes, there are 6. So there are hundreds of races. Are there more than 16 abducting? Probably, but there are 16 that we know are that are documented that do abduct. So just to touch on that real quick, because we've talked about this on a lot of different shows, but so there are 16 races that are abducting. Some do it for science, much like we do it with animals. They put a tracker on you. Basically, some of the trackers are to track your location. You can move. They can still find you unless you shut down the implant. Some of them do it for medical science. Some of them do it for social science. These are the abductees that describe having what's called mind scan. And that's where the aliens are like 2 to 3 inches locked on your eyes. And while they're doing this, you're watching a TV, basically a TV screen of apocalyptic videos, things of that nature. And they're actually watching your emotion. They're studying human emotion. Then you've got the gray hybrid program from back in the 90s. That's where semen was taken from men. Women were impregnated. There's about 2 to 3 months gestation period with the grays. The fetus be taken out within 2 to 3 months. The abductee described being taken up on a ship through dream activity and encouraged to interact with the child. We have had a couple cases where the hybrid was actually natural birth, impregnated on the ship, and actually the woman had a pregnancy here on Earth, and that's relatively new, I believe. What the current trend now is astral abduction, and we haven't really encountered that a whole lot. I don't think, have we, guys?
We've encountered a few of them. Recently had a case where that protections that are put out and around seems to disrupt that astral abduction. And the protection that was put there had been moved. And the person didn't know it, and she was abducted, but she remembered the training that she was given. And she activated that training while she was being abducted, and they stopped. Now, I don't know if it confused them or what. They were talking. She could hear them talking, but they didn't try to carry on with the abduction. The next day, she realized that those protections had been moved, and once those protections were put back, she hasn't been, they haven't tried to abduct her again.
Okay, Caden's asking too, what are our thoughts on time travelers? The guy they called Noah hasn't been playing this, and to be honest with you, that's an area I haven't even looked at. When it comes to the time travelers, not familiar with it, not an area that we've really encountered or looked into, because we're busy with all the other stuff.
I can put my theories in on time travel if you like.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so R. Keith Andrews has said that you can travel in time forward but not reverse, and I basically kind of agree with that. So you have to look at things from the physics standpoint, and this is where I start thinking on Markham's level. Everything that you have currently in front of you, every part of what you're around you, the desk, the computer screen, everything is made up of atoms and molecules of various types, but they're all recycled. Everything that the desk that's sitting in front of me, these atoms at some point were something else in the past. So basically, for you to physically time travel back in time to another time period, you would literally have to rip apart everything at the atomic level and reconstruct it at that time frame for what it was then to be able to go there and see it. So for time travel to actually happen in reverse, the only way that you could do it would literally be to rip apart the universe at the atomic level at the time we're setting in right now to go back to that point. It's literally impossible on the physics level to do so because you would destroy the universe to do it.
Now, what if, and this is only a what if, CERN, there we go. What if CERN isn't doing some kind of experimentation on time travel behind the scenes?
If they are, we could find ourselves in some serious trouble.
Yeah, let's be dealing with black matter and everything else.
Yeah, the dark matter and such. I mean, if they are, the problem that we're going to run into is exactly that. I mean, they're just going to, rip the fabric of time and space apart, and it'll destroy everything as we know it. Basically, kiss your behind goodbye.
Mm-hmm. You got anything to add, Markham? You're awful quiet over there.
Well, I disagree on a lot of that. Well, I think the thing is you can travel further back in time than your machine is, but I don't think you can have a lasting effect on a given timeline because once you leave, I think it just goes back to where it was. There was, years ago, there was a science fiction short story called Ripples on the Dirac Sea, after Paul Dirac, the physicist, and there's a little bit of, there's some backing on this, that the reason we don't have the grandfather paradox, you go back in time, shoot your own grandfather, therefore you wouldn't exist because there was no way for you to become, be born. That paradox doesn't happen because the universe is self-correcting. Once you yourself as the time traveler exit the timeline and go back to your origin point, what you did is corrected. It's like auto-correcting. That the future you could probably screw around in because the future isn't set. But the past is. The past happened.
Yeah.
The past is pretty much carved in stone. There's it's probably been done, but we don't see the effects because, like I said, it's self-correcting. I'm sure somebody's tried to go back in time, shot Hitler in the head, blah, blah, blah. I think what you run into with situations like that, history has a momentum. Things are going to happen. You go back in time, you shoot Hitler. Ernst Röhm probably takes his place. That was his right-hand man before he killed off all the brown shirts. I mean, somebody's got, I think forces and momentum occurs in history, and you're going to change, you might be able to change the faces, but you're not going to change the event. World War II is still going to happen. The only way to prevent a World War II would be somehow go back and fix the treaty, Treaty of Versailles? Anyhow, the treaty at the end of World War I that set up World War II.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's self-correcting, you can do all you want, and you're not gonna affect anything. And it kind of makes sense in that if the universe was created by a superior being, they would have thought, these talking monkeys are going to figure out time travel. I better figure out a way to keep them from screwing their own history up. So,
leave it to humans.
Yeah. Well, and CERN, I think CERN gets... Okay. I just think CERN gets overvalued or overhyped. I don't think CERN is capable of doing all the creepy crap that people say it can. It's a friggin' particle collider. And 99.9% of the particles that show up when they collide matter disappear in, nths of a second. We're talking thousandths of a thousandth of a second. They don't know what they get till afterwards when their devices show them, oh, you captured so many alpha particles, so many gamma. There's technology that can observe in that time scale. Is the only reason they know what they're getting. I just really don't think any of the world-ending scenarios with CERN were ever could ever have happened.
Right. And real quick, Caden, we will get to your questions here shortly. Joseph, Markham, this is right down your alley, so I'm going to let you take this one. Joseph wants to know, what about the Mandela effect? Isn't the past also malleable?
With the Mandela effect, I experienced so much of that. I don't think that the Mandela effect is so much the past changing, but individuals going into a different time, moving up or down a timeline. Joseph, my theory is that we are like electrons as human beings, as individual human beings. Our energy state will tell us what, or dictates what plane or what dimension, what timeline we're on. And I think if we vibrate higher or, and this isn't something, I don't think you can consciously do this. I think this is just something that happens. I think we move up and down the parallel timelines that are going on right now. So I'm not so sure that it's history that changes. It's just what timeline we're writing is what changes. Because I've seen that so much in my own life. I mean, the Berenstain Bears, the Nelson Mandela. Ironically enough, I never remember Nelson Mandela dying, but my usual thing is I always talk about is one of the early Star Trek, the original series, the episode called The Alternative Factor. In my original timeline, that particular episode starred Rip Torn as Lazarus. And I remember, it's not a false memory, and because I remember every time Star Trek came on, that episode came on, I tried to get my parents to realize what a joke a name like Rip Torn was. And they just looked at me like, what's this crazy kid? I found it entertaining and laughed out loud every time I saw Rip Torn. Yeah, it didn't take much to entertain me as a kid. Now, any reference book you look at will tell you that that's Robert Brown that plays that role. So, and here again, maybe if the past is mutable, maybe it's only the small things that can be changed.
Right.
But, I'm pretty sure, to me, I just think it's a matter of moving up and down parallel timelines. And I don't think it's conscious. I think it just happens. It's like when an electron gets enough energy, it bumps up to another shell, as it's orbiting a nucleus, the nucleus of an atom.
Mm-hmm.
It's look it up. It's valence shell electron theory. I think we kind of operate along that same line.
With the CERN aspect of things, this is probably where Markham and I will disagree a little bit. Is that anytime that the way I look at it, and I've always loved physics. And I'm no expert by any means, but I've always loved physics. But anytime that you start playing around with different atoms and stuff, and you start colliding things together that maybe normally wouldn't be collided together, you're taking a serious risk of tearing up things that could be timeline, things that could be just, the space continuum that we're currently living in. You can start a chain reaction within the atoms that could vaporize us all into smithereens, literally. So
that's also what they thought was going to happen the first time they dropped a bomb or an H bomb. There were many, and I mean not just fringe scientists. There were many credentialed, credible scientists that, oh my God, as soon as you drop that bomb, the whole atmosphere is going to.
Well, and to some extent,
so even what my point is, even physicists, people with the PhD behind their names, don't understand or don't really know what's out there, what's possible.
And I
so
don't
you
think
could be, you could be right, you could be true. I mean, you could be completely right that that thing could wipe out the Earth as we know it. I just don't think we're quite. I don't think as a species we're quite up to that yet.
Oh, and we may not be, but the question is when, and will they know what they're actually looking at when it actually goes to happen? Will they be going, yeah, we know this could happen, but we're going to do it anyways, or are they just going to be completely blind? Oh, hey, let's see what happens when we do this, and it does it. That's the big question.
Oh, they absolutely will. I mean, they absolutely will. I have no doubt that they'll look at it and say, oh, we can do this. Mm-hmm. Science very rarely ever stops to say, should we?
Oh, yeah.
It's always, can we?
Can we?
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, who knows? That's, like I say, that is just my theory on it, and it seems to me that, as we advance along in our technology and stuff, especially with some of the stuff we're playing with there, who knows what we may end up eventually doing. We may end up causing some serious problems. Now, Arth Keith Andrews, his theories of it is that basically they're working on what would be the beginning of an electron drive for something for interstellar travel. So who knows? Maybe that's what the CERN will end up with. But it seems just a little bit frightening to me. I don't know if that's the right word or not, but a little disturbing to me of what some of the stuff they're doing.
And I almost wonder how many great secrets. These people, these particle physicists, are so narrowly focused upon their findings. What happens when we collide these two protons? I almost wonder, is there anybody there looking for the residual stuff, the stuff that happens around the main experience? It could well be that somebody, there's some fantastic discovery that's happening, and nobody's observing it because they're all paying attention to the particle part of it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, look at how many different discoveries there have been out there that were a result of something they were trying to do. That didn't happen, but something else did. But you're right that a lot of these physicists get so narrowly focused that they get those blinders on, and they don't see what's going on outside around the experiment they're trying. where did everybody go? Hello.
I'm still here.
We're here. Yes. Did we lose Eric?
I think we may have. This could be interesting. All right, hold on here.
Hey, I have a short announcement to make if we got a spot here that will get Eric back. On tomorrow night, everyone should be aware that Finding Bigfoot has its 100th episode, and this is the final, last episode of their 10-season run. Sunday night, May 27th, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., a 2-hour episode of Finding Bigfoot on the Animal Planet.
And I haven't heard anybody mention on any of the shows tonight that we lost one of our astronauts.
Yes.
Alan Bean died at Houston Methodist Hospital in Houston, Texas yesterday. Well, yesterday for me. So we're fast running out of Apollo astronauts.
Yeah.
He was 86. He was the fourth man to walk on the moon. Like, everybody remembers Neil Armstrong. Does anybody remember Alan Bean? It sucks being the fourth or fifth one to do something.
Funny you should bring up Alan Bean's name tonight, Markham. I actually got to meet Alan Bean along back in the 70s when I was traveling with a group called Up With People. We had a tour of NASA at the Houston facility, and he was one of the nicest actual astronauts who was able to take some time off of what he was doing and walk us around the facility and show 120 kids from all over the world in our group the inner workings of the NASA space station there in Houston. Matter of fact, one of the funniest things I remember him doing for us was showing us the not the moon rover. It was that 4-wheel drive buggy that they had on the moon. And I remember looking behind the actual vehicle itself and realizing that there was an actual ever-ready 12-volt battery in the thing. And I thought that was funny. But he was a nice man, Alan Bean.
Real quick, we got to get back to Caden's question. I got to backtrack here. There we go. Other than a select few who have seen them flying or face to face, why do you think aliens don't make a public appearance? And I want to pull you in on this one, Michael. Does that go with disclosure? I don't think so much. But with some races, and I'm trying to think how to explain this because in some cases there's actually what's called a consortium, and the Pleiadians are being part of this consortium. There's hundreds of races in the consortium. Some people call it the Council of 9. Some people call it the Council of 12. It used to be the Council of 12, and then they dropped 3 races, so it became the Council of 9. It really depends who you talk to and what they're known as when it comes to alien race specialists. We go with R. Keith. I've validated a lot of what he said with my own research, and I've studied this for over 20 years. So it's you kind of take a little piece over here, a little piece over there, and if it fits the puzzle, then it makes sense. So basically, there's a consortium, that kind of, they're more interested in the planet, and humans being on the planet kind of take that benefit of protection, essentially, from the negative races that are out to destroy us. So they're not allowed to be seen, essentially. Because when you look at it, religion can be shaken. When people panic, you know, I've looked at this, I think, more recently. Do you think people would panic if all of a sudden aliens landed on the yard and said, "Hi, we're here"? Michael?
You know, I think that's probably one of the main concerns of the powers that be right now. The fact that we're doing, someone is doing this slow disclosure rather than just coming out and telling us the truth right away. I think they are worried that some people will not be able to handle the paradigm shift. But I also believe that there is a concerted effort to prepare the human race for such a massive change in reality when it does get proven that aliens exist and they are visiting our planet. So I think for some reason there's a push. I believe this push is coming from potentially, like you were mentioning, this off-planet galactic federation of races or whatever. I believe there's evidence to show, at least Corey Good says this, that the Federation has said that it's time that the Earth people not be held down any longer. They need to join the consciousness raising that there is in the rest of the galaxy, and whoever's been controlling our civilization for generations, eons, needs to back off. So I believe that there's a concerted effort to make the whole idea of alien existence a reality slowly but surely, because they don't want this major panic to happen.
Well, if you look at it, I mean, and we're getting down to about 5 minutes, but if you look at it, who's to stop them? If they really wanted to come down and say, "Hey, we're here," they could. The humans ain't going to stop them. The government's not all powerful, and I think that's the big fear: is the government doesn't want, you know, the humans to know that we're not in control. We don't control our skies, or do we? That would be the question. But if we did, you would see a lot more, you know, UFO crashes.
Yeah. And
so it tells you right there, we don't.
Well, could it also be that they've got a sense of humor and they're just being assholes and jerking us around? Showing just enough of, just showing enough, because there's never, think about it, you've got this technological society or culture, you know, this world that's just about ready. You know, that doesn't happen all the time. So you get to, you know, you get about 50 years of pranking and being buttholes, and then it's like, we were kidding, we're really here.
Yeah, right. Now, Dan's bringing up, they are here and there's a war occurring underground. I agree and I disagree. There is things going on underground, not so much a war, but I think a lot of what you hear or read about going on underground is, one, government making underground bases, and two, some of the ancient races that, you know, even our Keith has talked about, that have been here since the beginning of this planet.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're
and some of those, and you know, some of those actually fall under the more Fey realm, the gnomes, not the gnomes, they are gnome-like. So not so much off-world, not so much extraterrestrial, just ancient races that have been on the planet since the beginning of time.
There is supposed to be wars happening. They're out in space.
Right. There is a battle going on, but it's not on the planet and not inside the planet. It's over our heads. And it has nothing to do with us. It's other races battling other races. Is there going to be an alien invasion? No, there's not. If anything, we'd be caught in the crossfire. But nothing you got to sit and worry about, because it's not going to affect us. And you'd be surprised how many people how often you hear about, oh, the alien invasion's coming. Yeah, stop watching the movies. Independence Day is not going to happen.
Well, as our Keith said, there's not going to be an invasion, man. If they want to take over this planet, they're going to do it from just above atmosphere, and it's going to be over in seconds. There ain't going to be no invasion. And would he say that one of the consortium ships has a weapon that you could fly the Titanic sideways down the barrel of it?
Right. And now you made me lose my train of thought. Oh, God damn it.
Imagine that after the day you had.
Oh, that's it. So, what I haven't heard of recently, I haven't heard any more about Nibiru. They've stopped making predictions about the end of the world. I'm surprised. Because, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, didn't one of the prediction dates of the end of the world come and go again?
Yeah, I think that was last year around May, I believe, that I remember. But yeah, there's periodically those end dates that are publicized, and I think partially some of that is the powers that be trying to keep people in fear and confused. I think that's part of the whole program there of misinformation to keep us distracted from the main issues that we should be worrying about.
And yeah, Planet X, Nibiru, whichever one you want to call it, same animal. Yeah, for a while, I think it was last year, you saw it all over the internet, you saw it all over YouTube. Oh my God, look, it's Planet X, it's Nibiru. Oh, it's going to hit the Earth. It didn't happen. And is that the reason for the underground bases? Who knows? Do we really know? Not really.
I'm looking at the article right now. It said May 2018.
Yeah, May 24th. Okay. Oh wait, it's the 27th. Yeah, I knew I heard a May date. I just can't remember which one it was. Yeah, and that should have happened 3 days ago. Maybe we're actually dead and we just don't know it. And on that note, folks, come and see our dead bodies at the...
they would be dead tomorrow.
Yeah. Come to the farmer's market tomorrow, and we'll have a dead dance or something, and it'll be great. Mm-hmm. So anyway, on that note, it was a great show. Thanks everyone for coming on tonight. Hope you all enjoyed it. And Michael, where can we find UFO IT?
Well, you can always find us on Facebook if you punch in UFO IT with a lowercase I, or you can go to the website at ufoit.com.
Sounds good. And on that note, what are we doing next week, Corey?
Oh, I'll get into that here in just a second. I think it has to do with UFOs, though. Did want to put a quick note in here for the Instagram part of it. Yes, we have elected our little social media butterfly to run our new Instagram. And you can find us at FM Paranormal on Instagram. FM Paranormal. So go into Instagram, go hunt us down, and give us a like there, and follow us. And with that note, I would like to thank our panel, Eric Markham, our FMP scientist, Michael Hall of UFO I-Team, and our attorney for Forest Moon Paranormal, Donna Cunningham of the Astral Team, Bonnie Smith of the Astral Team, and Sam Wynn of the Aftercare Team. Join us next Saturday at midnight Pacific Standard Time as we talk about UFO sightings and are they on the rise. You can find us on Spreaker.com, SpacedOutRadio.com, and The Fringe FM. And for local listeners, also on KSVU 90.1 on your FM dial. I would like to thank our listeners because without you, there is no S4. Good night, and remember, keep your eyes to the skies.
You got a friend in me.
You've got a friend in me. Celebrate friendship and beyond during the first ever Pixar Fest with the all-new Pixar-themed fireworks spectacular and your favorite park parades. Celebrate from April 13th through September 3rd, only at Disneyland Resort. Visit Disneyland.com for details.
There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. You got a friend in me.
Entertainment subject to change without notice.